Hello, everyone, and welcome. Listen, I know Class 10 exams can feel seriously overwhelming. You've got tons of subjects to juggle, and suddenly you're expected to understand this massive, intimidating buzzword, artificial intelligence. We'll take a deep breath because you are in exactly the right place. Think of this explainer as your ultimate masterclass. We've taken all those complex textbook definitions and turned them into these super simple, handwritten style study notes. My goal today is to act as your personal tutor, breaking down AI so clearly that you'll not only ace your exams, but you'll actually understand how the technology shaping our future really works. So let's jump right in. All right, here is our roadmap for this session. We are keeping it super structured to help reduce any of that exam anxiety. We'll start with a welcome to AI to lock down our basic definition. Then we'll peel back the layers by looking at machine learning and then deep learning. After that, we'll cover the 3 types of AI, explore where AI is actually used in the real world, and finally, we'll wrap up with a quick revision of key terms. You'll see exactly how all these concepts just naturally build on top of each other.
Section 1. Welcome to Artificial Intelligence. Before we look at any crazy code or technical stuff, we really need to answer the most basic, foundational question. What does AI actually mean?
Okay, grab a pen, because here is your absolute gold standard definition for the exam. Artificial intelligence, or AI, is the ability of a computer or machine to perform tasks that normally require human intelligence. It's basically a machine doing things that we usually think only a human brain can do. Stuff like thinking, learning, problem solving, and making decisions. Now, here's a really cool fact you can drop in your answer to totally impress your examiner. The term artificial intelligence wasn't just invented yesterday. It was actually coined way back in 1956 by a scientist named John McCarthy. He called it the science and engineering of intelligent machines. Pretty wild that they were thinking about this back in the 50s, right? So how does it actually work? Well, it all boils down to this super simple 3-step loop. Step 1 is input. This is where the machine receives data. That could be anything: text, images, voice recordings, whatever. Step 2 is processing. This is kind of the brain of the whole operation. The machine uses algorithms to sift through all that input data and find patterns. Finally, step 3 is output. Based on those patterns, the machine makes a final decision, a prediction, or takes an action. But listen to me carefully, because this is absolutely crucial for your exams. AI does not think like you and me. It doesn't have feelings, it doesn't have human logic. Actually, scratch the word thinking altogether. It's literally just a giant pattern matching machine. The more data it gets, the better it gets at spotting those patterns, and the smarter it appears. That brings us right to Section 2, Machine Learning Explained. We're peeling back the first layer of the AI onion now to look closer at exactly how these machines learn to spot those patterns we just talked about. Machine learning, or ML for short, is the specific way machines learn from data without a human having to sit there and program every single step. Think about it like this. How did you learn to recognize a cat when you were a toddler? Did your parents sit you down and hand you a mathematical formula for a cat? Of course not. They just pointed at a lot of cats, showed you pictures in books, and eventually your brain just kind of figured out the pattern. Pointy ears, whiskers, tail, boom, that's a cat. Well, AI does the exact same thing. You feed it a ton of data, and it learns the pattern all on its own. Now, for your syllabus, you need to know the 3 main types of machine learning. Let's break them down. First up, we have supervised learning. This is exactly like having a teacher standing over your shoulder giving you the answers. The machine is given labeled data, meaning the correct answers are already attached to the information. Second is unsupervised learning. This time, there's no teacher and there are no labels. The machine has to act like a detective, digging through raw data and finding hidden patterns or grouping things together entirely on its own. And third is reinforcement learning. This one is literally just learning by trial and error. The machine gets a digital reward for doing something right and a penalty for doing it wrong. It learns by interacting with its environment. Let's visualize this to really lock it in your memory. For supervised learning, imagine we feed the computer thousands of images that literally have name tags on them saying apple or orange. The machine learns exactly what an apple looks like because we told it. For unsupervised learning, imagine we just dump a massive pile of mixed random data points into the system. It magically sorts them into distinct clusters based on their similarities, without us ever telling it what those things are. And for reinforcement learning, just imagine a digital robot trying to walk. Every time it takes a successful step forward, it gets a +point reward, like leveling up in a video game. If it falls over, minus points. Eventually, it learns to walk perfectly just to maximize its score. Section 3, Deep Learning and Neural Networks. Okay, I'm gonna slow the pace down a tiny bit here because we're entering the deepest, most technical layer of our explainer. But don't worry, take a deep breath. It is so much easier than the fancy names make it sound. To understand deep learning, you first have to know what a neural network is. A neural network is simply a computer system made of interconnected nodes, and it's heavily inspired by the actual neurons inside your own human brain. Now, here is a key distinction you want to make in your exams. Deep learning isn't something totally different from machine learning, it's just an advanced, super-powered subset of it. It uses these complex, multi-layered neural networks to learn incredibly complicated patterns, like recognizing faces in a crowd or translating entire languages in real time. Let's trace how data actually moves through one of these networks. Look at this diagram. On the far left, you have the input layer. This is where your data, say the pixels of an image, first enters the system at these nodes, x1, x2, and x3. Then, that data flows into the middle section. These are called the hidden layers. And guess what? Because there are multiple hidden layers stacked on top of each other, that is exactly why we call it deep learning. It's deep because of all those layers. Finally, all that processed information pops out on the right side at the output layer, where the network confidently predicts, hey, this image is a dog. All right, section 4, the 3 types of AI. We've covered the nitty-gritty technical details, so let's zoom back out. Let's look at the big picture and talk about the broad capability levels of artificial intelligence. We generally classify AI on a scale from lowest to highest capability. Level 1 is narrow AI. Sometimes people call this weak AI. This is an AI designed to do exactly one specific task, like a computer program that only plays chess or Siri and Alexa on your phone. They're great at their one job, but they can't do anything else. Level 2 is general AI. Now, this would be an AI that can perform literally any intellectual task a human can do. It could reason, solve totally new puzzles, and learn new skills from scratch, just like us. Level 3 is super AI. This is where the machine's intelligence actually surpasses the very best human minds in every single field imaginable. Now listen up, because here is a massive exam tip that trips up a lot of students. Only narrow AI exists today. When you watch sci-fi movies like Iron Man or The Matrix, you see general and super AI all the time. But in the real world, those are entirely theoretical. They are far-off research goals. Please don't confuse Hollywood science fiction with current reality. Today, right now, we strictly only have narrow AI, which perfectly transitions us into Section 5, AI in the real world. Since we only have narrow AI, where are you actually seeing these technologies pop up in your daily life? It is honestly everywhere. Let's quickly bounce through this mind map. In healthcare, AI is currently analyzing complex medical images and literally saving lives by detecting early signs of cancer much faster than humans can. In the banking sector, AI algorithms are scanning thousands of credit card transactions every single second to instantly spot and block fraud. What about education? While AI is powering smart tutors and creating personalized learning paths tailored specifically for your strengths and weaknesses. In transport, it's the brains behind self-driving cars and optimizing GPS routes. And of course, in entertainment, AI is the exact reason why Netflix or YouTube always knows exactly what video to recommend to you next. It's totally embedded in our world. And just like that, we've made it to Section 6, quick revision and key terms. We have covered a lot of ground today, guys. So let's use this final phase to lock in everything you need to know to absolutely crush your Class 10 exams. Let's do a rapid-fire flashcard review of your vital vocabulary. Ready? An algorithm is the set of rules a computer follows to solve a problem. Data refers to the raw facts, numbers, or images processed by the AI. A neural network is a system of connected nodes inspired by the human brain. Training is the actual process of teaching the AI using lots of examples. And the model? That is the final finished program you get after the training is done, which you use to make predictions. Keep these strict definitions fresh in your mind, especially for those one-mark short answer questions. Next, here is your quick checklist of exam tips. 1. Always be ready to define AI in one clear sentence: machines doing tasks that require human intelligence. 2. Remember to draw that simple input, processing, output flowchart. 3. Know your 3 types of machine learning: supervised, unsupervised, and reinforcement, and make sure you can give one clear example for each. 4. Remember that deep learning is the one that uses those multi-layered neural networks. And 5, most importantly, if they ask about the future of AI, make sure you write down that currently only narrow AI exists. Let's visually anchor the single most important structural concept of the entire lesson with this diagram. Think of it like Russian nesting dolls. Deep learning is a small box tucked inside a bigger box called machine learning. And machine learning is tucked inside the biggest box called artificial intelligence.
So deep learning is a subset of machine learning, which is a subset of AI. I promise you, if you draw this simple nested diagram in your exam paper, your examiner is going to be incredibly impressed with how clearly you understand the big picture.
Well, that brings us to the end of our study session today. You are officially prepped and ready. But before we sign off, I want to leave you with a provocative thought. Since AI is already completely changing every industry, from healthcare to banking to transport, how will you use artificial intelligence in your future career? Because this isn't just a subject you need to pass in class 10, it is a massive, powerful tool that you are going to use for the rest of your life. So keep studying, stay curious, and thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. You've got this. Good luck on those exams.